Well, I want to talk to you about what's happening with business grants and stuff like that, at least from way I see it. Now, I've been studying business grants for, 30, 40 years or whatever. And it used to be that the SBA, I used to go out and talk about government grants for business and things like that and do TV shows and the like. And then people would call the SBA and tell them there's no grants for businesses. And at the time, that was right. But there's all these other grants for businesses that don't come from the SBA. And that's where they were all from. And that's what I was talking about all the time. But now the SBA has changed that because they're giving out more grants than anybody else in the world right now, for business and for self-employed and nonprofits and things like that. And it's all because of COVID. So that's been about a year now, and it'll probably go for a few more years, I would think, and maybe forever. You never know. But I want to get some information to you about what to do about this information. In other words, you go to the SBA and okay, let me get rid of me over here. Maybe I move me. Here's the link for the SBA. So you can go right now to the SBA.gov and look for relief options. And they have the Paycheck Protection Program. They have an EIDL. They have another grant program it's for venue operators. That's money. And then they have some other loan programs. Okay. Now, the problem is if you're not familiar with all this, you'll see the PPP and the EIDL, and they're actually called loans. So you'll see there, that's a loan. Oh, and then what do I do? How do I do a loan? But see, they're loans that have grants with them. The PPP lends you money and then says, if you use this money in a certain way, they'll forgive it and you don't have to pay back. Now, the EIDL loan is, in addition to the loan, they have a grant up to $10,000. So you as a small business, you want to look at both of those. And depending on when you looked at them last time, things have changed. That's the other thing. This changes every day. The SBA changes, the law changes, because every 6 months they put a new law to put new money in. Right now, they both have money. So if you're worried about them not having money, no, that's wrong. They do both have money. And actually last year, it was the EIDL that was easier to get for a small business or an independent contractor. You do not have to be a business. Yeah. As long as you're earning money, doing something yourself, and not on a payroll somewhere. And so you don't have to become a LLC or EIN and all that kind of stuff. No, but you have to fill out the forms and see if you're eligible. Okay, how do you do that? Well, they're both different. The PPP, you have to work through a financial organization. Now, here's one that there's a nice fellow who does a lot of education on this on the internet. And he suggests an organization called WOMPLY, WOMPLY.com, WOMPLY.com. And he has an interview with the WOMPLY guy and the head of the SBA. So this guy, to me, is really trying to share the information. And so this PPP now is good enough for as an independent contractor or a self-employed or a nonprofit. And even if you're individual, you get up to $100,000 grant. So how do you do it? If you go to the SBA website, you read about it, and they'll try to hook you up with like a banking kind of person. Or you could try this Wombly Bank, WOMBLY.com, and they work with many other banks. So you could switch in the middle, and they sort of seem to have these. I've called them up and see what they do. And so it's easier for a non-pro to understand. So if you're interested in that, I would call a place like Wombly, or go to the SBA, and you see the forms, and they'll hook you up with banks locally. So then you have to work with the bank. Now, the SBA itself on these PPP loans said it doesn't matter about credit. It doesn't matter how bad your credit is. They want to get the money out. And they also say, hey, you should apply. It's no risk and everything. So they're really interested. The people in the middle may run a credit check on you, but they're not depending. So I don't see how that would make any difference. And if it does happen and you lose because of a credit check, then I would go to another intermediary. So that's the PPP. The other one is the EIDL. Now, the EIDL is there's a loan that's very low income, a couple percentage points or whatever it is. It's nothing. So you want to get it maybe just to pay off credit cards, which is a good idea. But they have what's called an advance. Now, the EIDL, you go directly to SBA. So if you go to SBA directly and you fill out that form right on the SBA.gov EIDL. Now, if you have problems with that, see, if you had problems with the PPP, you talk to the person in the intermediary, the financial people that are going to send your application in. For EIDL, that's directly to the SBA. So if you need help with that, they have a FAQ on the EIDL. So if you go SBA.gov FAQ EIDL, they have a whole thing that really would solve most every problem, even gives you a number to call and an email to get more problems solved. If you need more than that, I would suggest go to the Small Business Development Center. Every county has one. They're available. They're, the hours now with COVID may be a little strange, but a lot of them are doing, remote helping, and they're one-on-one free counseling for anything with business. They're the greatest deal in the country, I think. So you go to the Americas, AMERICAS, and then SBDC.org. Americas, AMERICE, Americas with an S, and then SBDC.org. So there's two S's in the middle, and find your local office. So that's the big two ones, okay? And the big two. Okay. Now what you want to do, and there's two things. Those programs you have to have a bit. If you're just starting a business, those problems won't work for you, but you may want to read closely to see if they do work for you. If you haven't done any business, I'll start a business and then get a PPP. That's probably not going to happen, but I never know, and things change. So call and call it Wopley or something. Hey, can I do that? Get it from the horse's mouth. Don't trust me either, because I'm interpreting. I don't give out money. Never trust the person who's not giving you money, what the rules are for getting the money. The only people who really know that are the people giving the money. So that's where you want to. Okay, now that's just one part. Okay, now if you want more money to start or expand a business, and this is more likely where to get money to start a business, and this is at your state and local governments. And there's about 8 offices in the state and local governments that have programs for that. And it varies by state, it varies by office. It's all over. I could say, and you could say anything you want about there is or there isn't money, and they'll be right, because it is right somewhere and wrong somewhere else. So you have to go check for yourself. It's digging. And that's the whole thing about all this. You got to do research. You can't just sit there. Well, I think I will apply for a grant to start my business and start filling out an application. It doesn't work that way. It's sort of like, well, I will get a date for Saturday night and I'll do, well, actually, maybe that is. More likely, you could do that on the web, or at least an app on the phone. But getting government money isn't like that. What you have to do is the research required to see the opportunities that are possible. Because what you have is a mind of what you want to do, and you want the government and everything out there to fit what you want. It's not working. It's usually the other way around. The government wants this to be done, and you have to look at it. How could I make what I want to do fit what they want to do? They want to hire certain people, and they give money to. Oh, well, yeah, I'll hire people with gray hair in my business and get the money. So that's why you go out and find out what's available. Don't say, "Hey, I want this." Who has this? No. Doesn't work that way. You got to fit into what's out there. It's sort of like the world. You may think you want to date Britney Spears, but she's taken, right? So now you have to figure out what else is there. Maybe she's not. I don't even know what the hell she is, so don't worry. So there's the organization, every state. Now, how do you find these courts, these people in your state? There's 8 different organizations in every state that helps people who get grants money. They get grants to help people start businesses or expand their businesses. And if you know leskoreports.com, I have those reports for your state or whatever. If you're a Lesko Help member, you get them all these reports for free. And if you're neither, you could start at your business development center, small business development center, SBDC, and or your elected official, and just say, hey, I want to start a business. Don't say, I want a grant to start a business. No, you want to start a business and see what's there to help you do that. Okay, so that's what it is. And here, this report that I have for members gives that. Okay, now there's other ways. See, there's so many other ways and sources to do this. I mean, besides the half a dozen programs at SBA, what's available at your state and local government. Don't forget, your state and local government has lots of grant money now, too, because of COVID. They didn't before. They had some, but now they have more. But here's other ways to start businesses, okay? Like you could start a store for 20 cents, like an Etsy store, or sell something on the internet or what. You don't need money to do that. Okay. There's IRS, has a special thing that gives you $5,000 for every employee, but through the IRS. There's special programs for minorities in business, 10 online courses for starting a business from major universities. And these are free. You could learn how to do that. Best grants for women-owned entrepreneurs, small farming. If you want to start an agriculture-related business, what you do is you go to the Department of Agriculture, but locally, every Department of Agriculture has a county extension service. County Cooperative Extension Service. You call them if you want, even if you want to just start a food business in your kitchen downtown New York City, they will help you start a business there. See, the SBDC and the County Cooperative Extension Services are the places to start. And also your governor's office. If you call your governor's office and you're looking for people help to start a business. Here's something interesting that if you apply for a government loan, particularly an SBA loan, you have 6 months to appeal. So if they said no, you have 6 months to appeal, to make them change their mind. And a lot of time it's true. I mean, the data I've seen, up to like a third of the people who appeal get something. Get a prize for appealing somehow. Also, another way to get money from the government is through contracts. I mean, you could be a freelance writer or something and get a contract at home writing brochures for the EPA. It takes you no money, whatever. And there's offices in the government that help you get those contracts. And that's what's cool that people don't know. There's special programs just for women entrepreneurs. Also, another thing that I have here in this list is how to use the gig economy to create income while you're starting a business. See, most people need a business, want a grant for business because they got to pay themselves. They're going to pay rent and stuff like that. Well, if you're creating some other way to create income, like through the gig economy. So you work 2-3 hours a day doing something stupid on the internet that people pay you for. That's a way to take care of a lot of that problem, and still work on your business, trying to find customers. That's what it's all about. And also people say, well, I got to become an LLC and a nonprofit. I think that's nonsense. Until I mean, to me, the only time you want to be an LLC or a nonprofit, like people say, I got to be an LLC to get an SBA loan. No, you don't. People think they do. Never worry about any of those credentials or whatever until you have an application in hand and it says you have to be that. Then you go out and do it because you can do any of those things in a day. So don't waste your time and money doing that. You want to waste your time and energy trying to find money. Okay, what to do when you can't get a grant or loan for your business? Okay, how to use your phone to get more grants. That's the other thing. You've got to use your phone. You want to use people, like you're going on the internet and saying, oh, you can't get a EIDL because of that. You can't do this because of that. Well, gosh, you go on the you go on to the EIDL FAQ. There's an 800 number there that you could call somebody and get the answer. Because what we think when we read into things, I mean, it's just, we all speak English, sort of. I mean, I lived with this lady for 35 years, and I think we still speak English. I mean, it's still difficult to communicate. So you're talking about applying for something and understanding what something means? No. But call the office, call people, call the SBDC or whatever people. Talk to them about what the hell you want to do. Go make an appointment with them. You could do that. That's available. Get sales for your business from the government nonprofit organization. Yes. Non-traditional alternative. There's also non-traditional ways to get a business, whether it's crowdfunding, whether it's finding investors that people don't know. And also you could become a publicly held company for next to nothing. Next to nothing is like $10,000, but usually it's $100,000, $200,000. But the rules have changed for raising money for a business or anything. And there's certain websites that that just attracts investors looking for ideas to invest in. So it costs you nothing to put your idea on there and find investors. See, that's the kind of thing. Okay, what to do? Let's see, cut your employee wages. Oh, that's another way to do it. See, there's so many things that people don't, the government will pay you. You're starting a business and you can't afford paying or training people. They'll pay for training your employee, because you don't, you're not making enough money to do that yet. Internet marketing courses free. Actually, if you're a nonprofit, you can get $10,000 from Google market, $10,000 a month. So that's $120,000 a year of free marketing help. Or here, what's another neat thing people don't realize is meetups, meetup.com. And that's a place to go all over the country to talk to other people that are starting businesses or want to invest in real estate or start a nonprofit. All these, they meet up and share ideas. So you just don't, the internet is deadly because it gets you into things that aren't realistic, aren't for you. What you have to do is go out and find the facts about the real stuff that may be for you. What's out there? What have other people tried and used and didn't use and things like that? And talk to people about what's going on. Instead of reading stuff on the internet, because most of it's written people like me trying to get your attention and get your money. So they're going to tell you everything. This is terrific, man. You just fill out these 4 blanks and you get a $10,000 tomorrow. Honest, just give me, $500. We'll be okay. Oh shit, I'm sorry, it didn't work for you, did it? No, you can't do that. You shouldn't. And that's what you should do. So get on the phone, get the facts before you do anything. And there's a lot of stuff out there that may or may not be for you. And the only way you're going to know for sure is doing the research, doing the work, and talking to people who hand out the money.